Ready for Evolution. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for getting on. I don't know how brief this is going to be, but I definitely want to share with you, um, inspired by my brother and friend, my trusted brother and friend, Brother Keith Hollins Muhammad. So um, it's going to be one of those discussions. I hope I don't infringe on anyone's time, but I appreciate you all being here, and hopefully you'll get something out of this discussion. So just type in it. Let me see who's here. Hey, Sister Shayola, good to see you. Hey, Sister Janetta Mohammed, salam alaikum. Stephanie Lacis, how you doing? Hey, wa alaikum salam, Sister Jerry. Share it out, family. Share it out. I appreciate your time and attention. I want to talk to you about the lessons that I'm gleaning. Oh, thank you. The lessons that I'm gleaning from this wonderful space known as networking. It's a wonderful journey. Hey, Sister Felicia Vaughns. Hey, Brother Vernon. I'm like, I really, truly appreciate you. Hey, numbers gentleman, Mr. Mike Johnson. I really appreciate each and every one of you. There's so many things that I'm learning in this space. Some of it I learned at my own peril, right? Because Dr. Best always talks to us about experience being the best teacher. You just hope it's someone else's experiences. Well, it doesn't always work out that way. A lot of times it works out for you to be the example for others. Wa alaikum salam, Brother Vincent. So I want to share this and I want to give it some measure of context. The reason why I believe I have something to offer or say in relation to the lessons I'm learning along this magnificent journey is because this journey, for all practical purposes, is new to me. I'm still wet behind the ears. I still have breast milk on the lip. Okay. I'm a baby in the profession of networking. But there's something that Mr. Johnson said to me a few months ago, almost a year ago. Mr. Johnson said to me, he said, Brother Eric, he was looking at the success that I was having in building organization. And he said to me, Brother Eric, what you lack in experience, you're going to make up for in labor. Something along that line. Mr. Johnson, if you remember that, could you just type it in so I can post it so people can see? Because there's so much power in that lesson that I learned from him. Networking is the space where it allows you to be compensated for adding value to the life of the next person. That's what it does. It's the ultimate servant's vehicle. Ultimate because whatever your mission is or product, whatever your cause is or product, whatever your goal or your dream is or product, the networking space allows you to communicate it if it is worth its weight. And it's a volunteer aspiration. It's something that you have to make up your mind to do, and your rewards come as people embrace what it is that you do. And there's certain things that we come along with, right? There's certain things that we do as an outline, how to begin in this wonderful opportunity. Now I'm speaking of a vantage point where we're talking about building, the success of building. That's the journey that I'm discussing. We can build assets. We can accumulate assets in this opportunity that we're currently in. We can accumulate assets, and those assets will increase value. They'll increase value in the lives of anybody who receives them. They'll increase your value because you'll have the ability through asset accumulation to maneuver and manipulate the asset. And as a wealth builder, you learn how to manipulate the asset for your monetary use without giving up the asset. Oh boy, that's hot, but that's a whole nother discussion. What I'm speaking towards is the man who inspired this just through conversation with him. He helped me to see my own life, Brother Keith Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, soldier. Thank you. Hey, Sister Leah. Prophetic Eric Asamani. I hope I said Asamani right. Greetings to you, African. Hey, Brother Bonnie Tober, good to see you. Listen. So there are many times you want the experience to be other folks because of the hardships you go through in this magnificent journey. Okay? There's not a soul that approaches building an organization that you're not going to face. There's not one soul where you're not going to face the three guaranteed aspects. Number one, and anyone can type it in the chat. The first thing you're going to face is doubt. D-O-U-B-T. Doubt. Someone type that in the chat, please. Doubt is the first thing that you'll encounter. And where does it come from first? Well, first, it comes from yourself. Because you're challenging yourself to do something you have never done before, or may have never ever done before, or may have vowed that you'll never do it again, right? But it's that moment. Okay? It's that moment, doubt. The next one is condemnation. Condemnation is the second phase of this magnificent journey known as networking. But when you get to the stage of condemnation, you're 2/3 of the way to the last one. And that last one is acceptance. So you have doubt, you have condemnation, and you have acceptance. I think this is going to be good, y'all. I feel something here. Thank you, Brother Keith, for just reaching out to a brother and our ability to build, you know. Listen, the first doubt comes through yourself. And what creates the doubt? Doubt is actually a system of purge. You get to see what you're made of. You get to see what how other people think. How do we manifest it, and how do we manifest it quickly? Hey, Sister Denise, wa alaikum salam. It begins with those fundamental steps. What is it? We make a list. I was reminded, man, I thank you, Brother Keith. I was reminded of my journey. As short as it is, as short as it has been, it has been a journey. Okay? I made a list. Dr. Best said, make a list of everybody you know. Everybody. Spare no one. Don't try to think for them. Don't try to think for their pocket. Don't think about them needing a job, them wanting a job, or looking for a job. Don't think about them being rich and not interested. Don't think about them being established or have reached a certain level where they would never look at you. Don't think with your pocket. Just write down everybody you know. Go. And I'm writing this list. I'm writing this list. I'm writing this list. I'm writing this list. Then he said, call all of them. Yes, I'm famous in this space for making 100 calls a day for the first 7 days in the opportunity. And I used 2 of those 7 days to do follow-up. And some of it was by mistakes, others were by error, but I used those 7 days. And in 9 days, I had an exploding business. Okay. But I want to talk to you about the things that we forget. We forget the trials, the hardships, the frustrations, the arguments, the fights. We forget all of this when we reach a certain space where it no longer exists, where money is no longer the problem. That's one of the things you have to look forward to in this magnificent journey known as networking. Because if you have a viable solution to a problem and you stay the course while others doubt you, while others mock you, while others scorn, while others talk about you to your face and to your back, when you stay the course, eventually you blow through those levels and you'll reach the one of acceptance. The doubt, I made this list. I'm calling everybody. I mean, everybody. I was in a conversation with Mr. Dalco one day in those early days of the list making and calling. I was so tired. Now, many of you know my wife, and you know the height difference between the two of us is quite revealing. Okay. I'm sitting in her chair in our home, and I'm making all these calls. I fall asleep like this. I fall back in the chair a little bit with the phone to the chest. But I am relentless. I'm making these calls. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I don't know when I fell asleep in that particular moment, but I was awakened by the thud when my head hit the rug. I fell out the chair, head hit the floor. Nobody else was up. I'm looking around, still discombobulated. I thank God that my wife's chair was much lower than mine, so I didn't have that far of a journey. It still surprised the hell out of me, though. Right? And thud, I hit, and I look up, and I look around, and at that time where I was located in the house, you could see the clock. You could see to the kitchen, and to the kitchen you could see the clock on the stove, and it was 2 something in the morning. I said, good God, this is embarrassing. This will make no kind of sense. I'm taking my behind the bed. And I get up and I walk. And I remember mentioning to Mr. Dalco, just I think hours later after it happened, somewhere in the next day, maybe 2 days later. And he's on a stream and he's doing a stream and he mentions it. And that's when everybody in the house found out where that little knot upside my head came from. The carpet burn right here. But you're going at it. What's the first list we make? Why is that list for everybody we know? Because that list consists of what's considered the warm market in networking. It's the warm market. Everybody you know, you have some level of relationship with them, even if it's just through observation, even if it's just recognizing a name on a mailbox. Whatever the case is, it's something you can call on, you can recall, and you write. That's the warm list. Okay? And you would think by the amount of people you have written and the zeal, the excitement you have, the passion you have over the opportunity, you would think that combination would be enough for everybody to join you and get into this thing and everybody build a future. Sugar honey iced tea. I wanted to say something else. Y'all understand. Listen. I got more no's that I couldn't even imagine how many people will tell me no, one interested. You got to be kidding. Get out of here with this. Man, you owe me money now. I'm not joining this thing with you. You must be out of your mind. You know, that kind of stuff. I had to censor some of this. But I'm sure many of us experience this to an extent, right? And there was a point in it, I don't remember where in those moments that I started to feel a tinge of discouragement. I didn't stop, but I did the next best thing to keep myself from stopping. You remember that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And you get stuck or you're stumped over something and they ask you, do you want to call a friend? Do you want to use a lifeline? Right? I called Dr. Best. And I'm sharing with him. I wasn't whining. I just mentioned that, I'm on these calls. I made so many hundred and whatever it was. And I'm talking about it. And he said, well, the list that you made, you keep making a list, you keep making the calls, and you keep putting them back in the funnel. That's another conversation that we'll eventually have. He said, but Eric, let me tell you something. That list, your warm list, is your practice, because your success is going to come from strangers. He said, man, networking is a funny thing. It's a funny thing. You calling everybody, you think everybody's going to be in this business with you. And I'm here to tell you, they're not going to join you. Your family's not going to join you. You may do for your family, he said, but your family's not going to join you. It's a very unique and rare occurrence when your family works the business with you. You may have your spouse, but your children or your siblings or your parents, oh, they'll support what you do, but they're not going to join you in it. In most cases. I said, really? He said, but don't stop calling. Don't stop feeding them. Don't stop seeding on them. And that particular conversation, I don't think he used seeding as the word, but it fits. He said, because they're your practice. You grow in confidence. You grow in your understanding of the product. You grow in your faith. Because you apply yourself, you apply yourself, you apply yourself, and you plug in. You apply yourself, you apply yourself, you apply yourself, and you plug in. He said, they don't know you for your dream. They know you for the circles that they came up with you in. So here's another point in that. This business is a business of association. This magnificent journey is one of association. I am blessed to have a wonderful relationship with my bigger sister who's on this stream, Sister CeCe Mahone. And one day we were traveling together at, I think it was the last public Let's Go weekend. I think I was on the phone. I was driving. And she spoke to me about this journey, this magnificent journey called networking, and how Wealth Builders Worldwide represents family like we've never, ever seen, like she had never, ever seen in the 20 plus years in this opportunity, in the networking space. She said, people cared about the product, how many you would get in what was it called? Auto ship, how much you would get in auto ship, how much commission they would get, and then they're gone. You didn't see them no more. You didn't hear anything else from them unless you had something they can get out of you. She said, but this, Eric, Wealth Builders Worldwide, is truly family. Here I am hanging out with you. I'm knowing you. You know Demawi. And she laid out all of this beauty, the benefit of being in the relationship business, the people building business, and it just happens to have a compensation plan attached to it. The dreamers generally aren't in your family. You're the one. You are the one. And the doubt comes in where you're now striving to get them to see what you see, and you think something's wrong with the model, or you think something's wrong with your approach because they will not see it the way you do. And you have yet to build up the confidence, the courage to go out into the field and speak to other people. So the warm list creates the sorting. What's being sorted? People who don't see it as you do. And the deeper sort that occurs is your ability to make up your mind you're going to do this darn thing. Dr. Miles Monroe, may Allah be pleased, he came up with we provided a presentation this morning on Class in Session. It's huge. This man talks about leadership keys. And in his talk on leadership keys, he says you have to develop paraphrasing the words now, isolation and anger in order to define your role. Isolation, you got to be to yourself to realize what it is that you're born to do, that you're made to do. You have to be to yourself to become resolute in the conviction. And get this, you have to be angry enough to do it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, used to tell us that dissatisfaction produces change. And if you have 100% dissatisfaction, you will have 100% change. Are we dissatisfied enough? Are we angry enough? Or to translate it in more relatable terms in our networking space, is your dream big enough? Doubt is a monster, man. Well, okay, so going through the list and going through that doubt, going through the people doubting you, and you may be doubting yourself at this point. What allows you to overcome it? Is it solely just continue to call regardless of whom or what? That's an element. That's an element, but it's not enough. You have to be able to hold on to your dream in order to realize the dream and the desire you have for others. It requires a community. Have you ever noticed, as you approach this networking space, have you ever noticed how small your circle becomes? You might be the only one in a room and your wife is in the other room, or your children are going out and they don't ask you to do anything with them right now because they know you're going to be in front of your desk, on your phone, reaching out to people about the opportunity. You seem disinterested from in their eyes, disinterested in doing anything they may want to do. Your circle gets smaller because your dream is getting larger. And when you dream, you're actually leaving one community and moving into another. Think about it. You know, just the natural process of dreaming from sleep. You go to bed or you retire or you nod out and you begin to dream. You're dreaming past the current. You're dreaming past what's in front of you. You're dreaming past the reality, the circumstances, and you're dreaming about another expanse. So you left the awake community, and in your slumber, you're growing into the other. Right? We say often, at least I say often in classes in session, I say the way to change the nature of our experiences is to change the nature of our thoughts. How do thoughts change? Thoughts are a product of conditioning. Thoughts are a product of programming. Thoughts are a product of exposure. And all those things together comprise the mindset. But if you want the mindset to change, you want it to shift to something that you're not normally associated with, you can't stay in the same circle and expect different. You can't. It's a natural improbability because we are creatures of association. And if I've been broke all of my life or most of my life, then that means I am an average of the people around me. Broke me. Broke me. Man, I need to do more with my life. Okay, let's go. Broke. Still me. Me what? Me broke. Why? Because I have not gone into the circle or the cipher that will educate me, align me with my dreams or desires. When you get a job, does everybody come with you from the neighborhood? It's your job, isn't it? When you go to school to study a discipline and you're gone, does everybody that you know come to class with you? No. So aligning ourselves with the community that speaks to our desire, our dream, our gift begins to fortify you. It gives you and I the support that we need. It develops the muscle of belief. So I knew not to depend solely on the list. How did I know? I reached out to my teacher. I reached out to my sponsor. I understood directly what it meant to plug in, how to stay connected. I understood all that. And then I surrounded myself with those things that feed my mind. I'm looking for I sent them out already. But CDs, right? Books. Sister Janetta, I'm in your book right now. Books, right? I feed this. Why? Because Mr. Dalco said, Brother Eric, then he would say, Brother Muhammad, see, this is what you have to understand. He said, listen to this. You can't unsee what you've seen any more than you can unhear what you heard. Because the subconscious catches all of it. It's a gigantic sponge that takes in everything within sight, taste, smell, and hearing. Takes in everything, including touch. Takes in everything. And when are you made aware that it's in your subconscious? Well, you're never made aware that it's in your subconscious, but your subconscious provides the conscious the formula to understand conscious activity. My father, Kwame Ture, Baba said to me, he said, the duty of the conscious is to make the unconscious aware of conscious activity. Whew. He said, because your consciousness is limited. It has limited space, and therefore it has to move with specifics, next steps, what to do. The conscious can't hold all the formulas. The subconscious, the submind, holds all the formula. So if you immerse yourself in the space where you truly believe that this magnificent journey will reward the world, then what happens? I said, man, how do I get to stay home and never go back to work again? And when I said that, everything that's in the subconscious begins to work. And it comes forward to the conscious mind. And what does it do? It came up with a solution. Get more people. Tell everybody you can. Talk to everybody, 98.6 and breathing. Those are the things that happen when you give, arm, and equip that storage space, that muscle mass known as the subconscious. You ask the question consciously. The formula is put together in the subconscious, and the mind, which is in the heart, the mind catapults it right up to your brain. Catapults it right into the consciousness. And you keep moving. But you have to be in the right community to keep that muscle strong. You have to be in the right community. Dr. Best was talking today on the power call, and he was talking about how he was on the treadmill and how he felt on the treadmill after 5 minutes, then how he felt a couple of days later, and then how he felt a couple of days later after that, and how it got better each time, because he was conditioning himself to get ready, be ready, and stay ready, whichever one applied. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm going to highlight some of your comments here on the screen as I go beyond doubt. I want to move to condemnation. This is a rough one. See, the doubt is a little turbulent, but the condemnation, ooh, that's hard. You know why? Because that comes from the people you know, the people you love, the people you even admire. Condemnation is rough. Some of us are in households right now where our husband doesn't get what we're doing. Our family members don't get what we're doing because they've been conditioned to live from paycheck to paycheck. They've been conditioned like you have, but they haven't broken beyond the paradigm. They haven't arrived yet into that space that you are now embarking on. And truthfully, there are many of us who we can be here years and still not absolutely arrive. You know, y'all hang with me now. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I really believe that I believe it will help. Okay. Condemnation. That's the next step in this. Why is condemnation the next step after doubt? Because you proved to the doubters that you have some staying power. Because no matter what they expressed about you, you're still on the power call. You're still in the huddle. You're still on the 12 noon and 9 p.m. presentations. You're still on the freedom call. You're still on the Thursday night tools trainings. You're still going to paid session events, but you're no longer going to the club, or you're no longer going out to eat, or you're no longer shopping and getting frivolous things. You're not wasting money any longer because you see a goal post, right? So the condemnation from that vantage point is cutting. But I'm a firm believer that, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told me one day, he said, brother, in this life, in this work, you should know what to expect. You should get what you expect. And when that expectation arrives, thank Allah and keep on stepping, because it's showing you that you're on the right road. The condemnation is so heavy from your family. It's like they'll say things to you like, I don't know you anymore. It's like I never knew you at all for what you're doing. How many of you experienced that? Don't answer it in case your significant other is watching. That might be a discussion you might need to have with him or her. Okay? But we've experienced it. Because there is something different about you. What's different about you is life. You've gotten angry enough and committed enough to get past the doubt that is a part of the conditioning. See, your warm list is your comfort zone. And that community of that warm list, and all that reflects your comfort zone. The list you can make right away, that's your list of relationships that have not gotten you to wealth, have not gotten you closer to your dream. However, you're now breaking from it, but the only community you know is the one that you're currently in until you break forth, until you burst forth, right? So if their doubt, which is the sum of your doubt, does not take hold, They get offended. Because now you're manifesting things differently that they feel they're going to have to explain. Why is Ralph always over there with those people? I don't know what's gotten into my husband these days. Or why is Ted spending so much time in front of that computer? We don't go out anymore. And see, and you're now the people who are coming to you, not you personally, but now the people that they are affecting, that's the community. How many of you have ever heard the term of crabs in a barrel? What do crabs do when a crab is climbing out of the barrel? Someone type it in the chat. Yeah. Right, pulls them right back down. You're not getting out of there unless that barrel just turns over. You see? So that's another one, CC. That's a good one. Why are you always on a call? Why are you always on a call? That's right. The crab in this scenario, in this picture, the crab represents your comfort zone. The people that you were most aligned with in your community. I'm not calling them names. The barrel represents the community that you're associated with, and all the crabs are part of that community. You are trying to climb out because there's something above and beyond that barrel, but they're like, hey, what you doing? What you doing? Right? The Wolf Club. Yeah, Brother Lorenzo. That's another one. See, because, oh man, I hope this is doing something. The community now that you have to align yourself with is created when you get past the doubters and you get past your self-doubt. And now you found a way to the top of that barrel. You're not actually out of it yet, but the crabs are lining up. What the hell is he doing? Get him down from there. Get her down from there. She don't know what she's doing. You don't know what's on the other side of that thing. Right? So the condemnation comes from those who are exacting, get this, self-accusing spirit. See, their condemnation isn't of you. Their condemnation is of all those things, those schemes, those gimmicks they involved themselves in and didn't work. And now they want to put off their disappointment in those things on you. So it's easier for them to say, man, that ain't thing gonna work for you. I don't ever see you producing any money because you put $5,000 in some damn flour. Oh, y'all didn't think I was gonna go there. You know how many people have talked to me about how they lost money before coming to this opportunity? By pooling their resources, using a legitimate desire to pool resources in an illegitimate activity and expecting righteous results. You got to be kidding me. Okay? I had family members that came to me. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I ain't paying no $500 for no plant. And they were talking to me about this flower thing, right? It was a susu or something like that. I didn't know that's what it was because I'm not there. All I need is $500 from you. And then when it comes back around to you, there's only a collection of us, only like 420 and 423 of us in this thing. So I got to wait 423 what? Days, weeks, months before what? That $500 comes back to me. And then if somebody quits in that, what happens to the chain of that? You understand? It is a mathematical impossibility to keep up a susu as your circles expand and as your money and person strength diminishes and as inflation grows. But I didn't know what it was. People asked me for $500 to join a plant. Then another one asked me for $700. Oh, we got a bigger circle that pays out quicker. You just need $5,000. Well, I didn't give you anything on $500. What the hell you think I'm going to give you $1,000 or $5,000 for? You must be bedbug crazy. Anyway, that's me. So what I'm saying is people condemn you for the illogical things that they had done that didn't quite pan out. And now they see you doing something that's logical, but it's illogical to them because they see themselves as being better than you or knowing better than you. And that's the challenge you have to get through. You are more equipped in the area of condemnation because you know them and you now know yourself. They think they know you. You're better equipped. You're better equipped. So now you are 2/3 into this magnificent journey. You went through the doubt. You get the condemnation. Oh, they beat down on your heart. You need a lifeline. You look, I want to be a millionaire. I'm going to call Keith. I'm going to call Cece. I'm going to call Mike. I'm going to call Vernon. I'm going to call Angela. I'm going to call Darren. I'm going to call somebody to keep me what? Lifted. 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 I'm going to join the huddle. I ain't going to say nothing, but I'm just going to listen. I'm going to get on the power call. Why? Because I need it. I need something different than what the hell I'm experiencing. You can't. Oh, it's rough, man. You may have, everybody has reoccurring bills, correct? Okay. Well, in order to handle reoccurring bills, you don't need a gimmick because the bill's going to keep coming. What you need is reoccurring income to handle the reoccurring bills. That only comes from aligning yourself with the proper community whose mission it is to enhance your life, achieve your dreams, and build massive wealth. You brought up a good point, Mr. Johnson. I just said, how much money do you make watching the Housewives of Atlanta? Go ahead, I'll wait. Okay, all right. Check this out. What's the cost of the average television? I don't know. Someone give me a dollar amount in the chat on the cost of the purchase of a television. And I want to show you something. Why we need to equip our mind with the proper noise. I don't know. Someone give me a dollar amount. Okay. And then I want you to think about how we run. Brother Darren Cotton says $500 for a 55-inch. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's work with that. $500. CC, I love what you said here because this is where I'm going. I said, how much does a television cost? She says, I can give you the cost of watching one. Oh boy. Look. It's been documented that the average person is out of their home 16 hours a day, and they use 4 of those 16 hours when they get home watching television, or the television might be watching them, and they use an additional 2 hours of it playing as they get ready for work the next day or school the next day. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad called the television the Lie, L-I-E vision. He was also known to call it the boob tube. He also called it the one-eyed monster. He said, oh yeah, it's the one-eyed monster. You know, you can talk to it, but it ain't going to answer you. It's going to tell you everything, but if you don't turn it off, it's going to always be there. The television, the chair or couch that it sits in front of it, or the bed that's in front of it, those are probably the 2 most expensive pieces of real estate in your possession. Because that $500 purchase is sucking more than 8 hours of your life away, but you're working 16. It's programming you to maintain your job. It's not programming you to create anything. It only encourages drama, strife, and stress. That's all it does. And when that is, calculate this now. Let's say you bought the television. Today is January 26th. Let's say it was January 25th last year. You made that $500 purchase. That means that you're paying $500 for the television. No, you paid 500 times 365 days. Because it's not making money for you. It's pacifying you into a life of managing debt. That's another discussion. But you get the point, right? How do you make money work for you? That's another discussion. Let's go to that third point. Once you get past the condemnation, once you realize it's not about you, once you understand it's self-accusing spirit, because when people shout out at you, they're shouting out because their conscience is telling them, there's something very right about what he's doing. There's something very right about what she's doing. And you're telling consciously, you're telling your mind and heart, shut up. I'm going to punish her for not going out with me to the club. I'm going to punish her for not allowing me to buy that shirt that I wanted. I'm going to punish her for not having the relationship I wanted to have. I wanted to nestle with you in the bed and you're nowhere to be found. I'm going to punish her. I'm going to punish him. You take that self-accusing spirit of your letdown over being comfortable and you put it off. They put it off, and some of us put it off on the one who's chasing the dream. And we put it off this way. You're only thinking about yourself. This ain't got nothing. Don't say it has anything to do with me or the children. You're just thinking about yourself. I'm telling you this because I've experienced all of these things in this wonderful, magnificent journey. Because there's elements of it that you will agree on, but as family members, right? As loved ones. But there will be times where rubber meets the road when expectations are not quite met. I remember a very transparent discussion some time ago where my wife needed help with the bills in the house, reoccurring bills, right? And I couldn't give a straight answer. Well, I should have it by, but I'm not so sure. You can't speak to one whose nature is created in security, not insecurity, created secure. And the dominant trait is their security consciousness. They have to be made secure. They have to be assured, and they have to have reassurance, so naturally speaking, okay. So when the bill is due on the 1st and you're hemming and hawing on the 20th, that raises some alarms. You may get away with it the first month. You may get away with it the second month because you're able to make an arrangement. Now you're damaging credibility. Here comes the third month. And boy, other folks have to leave the house. You had to put pillowcases around the children's ear and secure it with duct tape. Because she's going to use her weapon to get you in gear. And her weapon is the tongue. So you unearth things in your loved ones, your spouses. You unearth things in them because they don't have closure or they don't have resolve to a reoccurring problem, but you're on the road that you're saying is going to change our future. When you hear enough of, I've been hearing that the last 20 years, you don't have another song to sing. I just wanted it for effect. I wanted that to be sound as cold as it is. It didn't come across like that to me. It didn't happen to me in that respect, but it happened to me enough to elevate this piece known as condemnation. Now, this is your next level of I'm going to do this. And when that strikes, that loved one knows at that point, there's no turning back. They know it. Something clicked when I walked into the household, free from the job, where everybody, including the children, looked and said, "Oh hell, this thing is for life. He ain't never going back." When you reach that condemnation phase and you know it's not about you, you can get through it better. But I'm encouraging us, I'm admonishing us to understand this. When you get to that stage, do not use it as an excuse to justify taking your time. Don't do that, because you'll rob yourself of the reward that's already waiting for you. You got through doubt. You got through condemnation. You realize that the condemnation is a mind thing, something they're wrestling with, self-accusing spirit. Okay, so do you sit there, point fingers, and keep doing things that keep the bills coming and never satisfied? Hell no. You step up your game, because just as sure as you're at the threshold of breaking forth, she or he may be at the threshold of breaking out. And if that's not what you truly want, you got to be busy. Then acceptance comes. There's joy in acceptance. Acceptance comes when you start seeing evidence of things, and you may not even recognize them right away. It took Dr. Best in a phone conversation to me. It was his own observation through ear. He said, hey, brother Eric, when was the last time you and your wife cooked in the house? I said, sir? He said, I'm just curious, because the last few weeks now, we're talking, you're going out to dinner or coming home. And I had to think about it. I said, Now, cabinets were full, freezer was full, refrigerator was full. But I couldn't think of, at that point, the last time she and I and the children actually sat down to eat. We were going to private Japanese hibachi restaurants where you rent out the space. Had no idea that we had even reached that point. It wasn't even on my, because it was just that, you know what, I want to do something nice for us, sweetheart. Let's go to so and so and such and such. We went that one time to celebrate a birthday for her sister, and then before you knew it, it became a regular spot. Now, it's not about how much it costs. It was the fact that it happened. That's right, Sister CC. We were straight up tripping. You know, children now go off to school. They have needs. We provide them. We don't even flinch. My daughter came home and visited, picked up her GS Lifestyle card, and went on back to school. You understand? You know, things have begun to be different. Y'all know the story about my wife's car. Many of you do. I won't go through it now. But you reach a point where acceptance means that now, not so much you made it, but now your loved ones say, you can do this. Why? Because it's proven now. We don't have the same issues over reoccurring bills anymore. But we don't fool ourselves and believe that it can never go back to that, because this is a volunteer business opportunity. People aren't obligated to do this month what they did last month or do this week what they did last week. No, that's why you go after the 7.5 billion people who are looking for you, because they're looking for you. But you have to know that you're on a magnificent journey. I've been blessed. In closing, I've been blessed tremendously in this thing called life. And this magnificent journey, networking. Mr. Johnson, please, if you would, type into the chat what you shared with me a year ago now about what you lack in experience, you'll make up for in, I forgot the word you use. I don't know if you say work or labor, but I would like for people to see it if you're in position to put it in there. I couldn't see it. You know what else Mr. Johnson told me? He said, brother, you are so wealthy. You're just waiting for your back office to catch up to you. Good God, you talking about something inspiring. I was like, ooh, well, damn. I haven't stopped running, you know. So be patient with the process. Be understanding that there is a process, and be even more understanding that everybody will go through it. It may not be as harsh or as severe as others. That's why we don't want to make comparisons with where other people are. Sometimes it can't be helped because we want to put ourselves off on other folks a lot of times. Well, I guess that's sort of natural too when you want for people so bad to win. But understand, you're going to have doubt, you're going to have condemnation, and you're going to have acceptance. What makes all of this probable is your willingness to be honest with yourself, live within your truths. There it is. We all take a look at what Mr. Johnson wrote. He said, what you lack in experience, you will make up for in numbers. It's true. But you have to have a dream. You have to have a goal that is so big that you're willing to risk it all or die trying. And we grow into those goals. We don't have them right out the gate. But we do grow into those goals because the more we strive, the more we remain in community. You know what happens? We get further inspired. We start to develop. We start to elevate. We start to raise the bar. And we never stop running towards that goal or towards that dream. When you get what you expect, thank God and keep on stepping. I love you because you're willing to love yourself enough to go after your dreams. Don't let anyone, no one, nobody steal your dreams. And when it gets rough, don't go to the bar. Go to Gold Rocks. When it gets rough, don't go into someone else's house, slip off into someone else's bed, slip off into somebody else's vice. Go to Gold Rocks. Go to a book. Go to a CD or DVD or MP4 or cassette tape if you still have the equipment. Go to your phone. Find something encouraging, enlightening. Go to a huddle. Go to class in session. That's not even a shameless plug. I meant that. Go to those things that will inspire you to stay the course, because I guarantee you, if you ever leave that course, ain't nothing else out there for you. Nothing. Because you quit on this, and this is the ultimate vehicle. If you quit on this, there's nothing else out there for you. And I'm going to tell you this, the people that you return to will, you'll be crushed. Let them elevate into your community. You remain in your new community. And as you grow, you'll create the greatest path where people have somewhere to come. There's opportunity that we particularly are in, known as GS Partners, is going to create such a vehicle because it's inevitable. Stay the course. Stay strong. Stay lifted. What you lack in experience, you will make up for it in numbers. Let us help you get to those numbers. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you, CC Mahone. Thank you, Katie Armstrong. Thank you, Rochelle. I see you out there, Heavenly Nails. Thank each and every one of you for helping me to be a better brother. Thank you, Brother Lorenzo. Thank you, all of you. May Allah bless and keep you. Thank you, Sister Janetta. Thank you, Brother Barney. Love you all because you're willing to love yourselves. Out forward.